Okay, this is part 2 of page 1 of your practice 2. Okay, so in the previous video, I've asked you to consider for each of this strategy and method, how does it lead to a city being sustainable? How does it help the city last into the future? Did it lead to reason 1, reason 2, or reason 3, which is why the city can last into the future? Okay, so let's start with this one first, all right? When you manage hazards, how does it help a city last into the future? Okay, well, for the first one, make the city not so easily destroyed by hazards. Obviously, of course, that will be the major one. Okay, so let's put a tick over here because the whole idea of managing hazards is to make it resilient. Okay, you have all these things so that the city will not get destroyed so easily. Let me just change the color for greater clarity. Okay, let me just change the color, increase the size. Okay, now if you want, you can actually draw the arrow to help you make it even clearer. Okay, mine doesn't look very nice, but you can draw a nicer arrow. Okay, so if I ask you to explain how does managing hazards create sustainable cities, then you can say that this makes cities sustainable because this will sorry, let me restart. If I ask you how it does, what it does, well, basically you must tell me firstly what it is, and then you explain this makes city sustainable because it will lead to the city not easily destroyed by hazards, or the city is resilient against hazards, which is why the city can last into the future. Okay, next one, physical environment. How does it make a city sustainable? Firstly, does it affect hazards? Unfortunately, no. Okay, all these are nothing to do with hazards, so we cannot put this here. Does it make the environment nicer? Definitely. Less pollution is a nicer place, isn't it? Okay. Does it help? Does it change? Does it allow residents to change their lifestyle and living practices so that it will get them to be more sustainable or have a more sustainable lifestyle? Well, this one doesn't really change people's lifestyle directly. Okay, so it's not quite suitable for reason 3. So for this case, probably only reason 2, sorry. Okay, so same thing. When I ask you to explain, give me the details and tell me that it leads to this because it attracts residents to stay in the city because of this. This is why the city can then last into the future. Okay, next one, safe housing. Which one does it lead to? All right, many of you actually chose this. Reason 2, correct. Okay, why not reason 1? Well, safe housing doesn't mean that it's resilient against hazard. Okay, the main goal is actually to provide good quality, good environment, so they have a good quality of life. Okay, now some of you will argue, but some cities, the housing they build encourage sustainable living. Like for example, the newer HDB flats have a separate rubbish chute for recycling. Okay, you're not wrong, but that is because it's nothing to do with safe housing. It's just that when they built the housing, they decided to add in additional things to encourage sustainable lifestyle. Okay, so mainly safe housing is just that the quality of housing is good, people can afford it. Okay, about all these extra things like encouraging recycling, that's not really part of this. All right, next one, providing a variety of transportation mode. How does it help make a city more sustainable? Okay, most of you say it's not number 1 because it has nothing to do with hazards. You're correct. Okay, some of you said that it is number 3 for sure because people will drive less. Correct. Okay, now the controversy will be, does it lead to number 2? All right, well, if you go on to explain that it reduces pollution, okay, that means from here you talk about pollution before you link it to number 3. Oops, this one looks ugly. Okay, you can do so, but you must talk about pollution. All right, last one, considering the needs, which one does it lead to? Okay, quite a few of you will say 2 and 3. Why 2 and 3? Because 2 is because uh, it will provide a better environment for the different groups of residents and they increase the quality of life. Okay, or because it allows them, they feel more confident because they are safe. It is safe and accessible now. More of them will go out. More of them will go do things on their own, and they're able to meet their needs instead of staying at home because it's unsafe outside. Okay. Why does it lead to 3? Because like some of you said, now that the disabled can take public transport, for example. Okay, they need not rely on on taxis and private cars. Okay, so there's lesser vehicles as a result. So you can talk about any of these two, but you need to give me the reason why. Okay, so did you get the correct response? All right. If you're not sure, feel free to clarify. Okay.